We will begin with the 3-part breath. Begin seated and cross-legged. You want to sit up on a height, putting a small cushioned folded towel or blanket beneath your tailbone. This will help you to straighten the spine. You're opening the chest, readying the body for pranayama, or breathing exercises. Breathing in through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. As you exhale, release a little sigh, because in sighing, we're also releasing tension. Taking a long, slow, deep breath in. Long, slow exhalation out. Placing your hand on your abdomen, become aware of the breath. Breathing in fully and breathing out fully. Follow the breath all the way in and all the way out. Become aware of any thoughts that may enter your mind. Take note of them, but do not become attached to them. Let go of the thoughts as if they were puffs of smoke, or clouds dissipating, or perhaps a wave in the ocean curling over and riding from the beach back out to sea. Bring your attention back to your breath, breathing in and breathing out. Remember that the breath is the bridge of life, and breathe deeply. So place your hands on your rib cage now, feeling the intercostal muscles, the muscles between the ribs. Expand on the inhalation and contract on the exhalation. Placing the thumbs behind your back, knowing that 3/4 of the lungs are actually to the back of the body. Expand the chest to the front, to the side, and to the back. Long, slow, deep breath in. Placing the fingertips on the clavicles now, draw the breath into the very base of your lungs. Then draw the breath up into the rib cage, up into the clavicle area. Broaden the clavicles, the collarbones, away from the sternum towards the shoulders, and descend the shoulder blades back and down into the rib cage. Open the chest. If you think that you've had enough breath, try taking an extra deep breath to reach the clavicle area. Then exhale. Note that the lungs extend from the top of the clavicle to the base of the rib cage. Imagine the trachea as a hollow flute and draw the breath into the very base of your lungs. Then exhale. Draw the breath all the way into the base of the lungs. Draw it up through the rib cage, to the front, to the side, and to the back. Then exhale. Draw the breath into the base of the lungs, up into the rib cage, and up into the clavicle area. Broadening the clavicles away from each other, descending the shoulder blades back and down into the rib cage. Open the chest, and then exhaling. This time, imagine the trachea as a hollow flute and draw the breath into the very base of the lungs. Hold here for the count of 5 and experience that place between the in and the out breath where there is no breath. Then exhaling. Draw the breath up into the rib cage, expand the chest to the front, to the side, and to the back, and hold. Then exhaling. Long, slow, deep breath. Draw the breath into the base of the lungs, up into the rib cage, then up into the clavicle area, and hold for the count of 5. Releasing the breath, allowing it to cascade out like a waterfall. Go right back to your normal breath, breathing in and out through the nose. And on the next exhalation, hold the breath out. Keep the breath out, yet draw the abdomen in. You're creating a hollow beneath the rib cage called symbol of lake. And go right back to your normal breath, breathing in and out through the nose. Repeat exhaling all the breath. Hold the breath out. Keep the breath out, yet draw the abdomen in. You'll know you're doing this correctly if the little indentation between the clavicles is also drawn in. This is also referred to as Uddiyana Bandha, the abdominal lock. If pregnant or menstruating, do not apply the abdominal lock. Go back to your normal breath, breathing in and out through the nose. Broaden the clavicles away from each other towards the shoulders. Descend the shoulder blades back and down into the rib cage. And open the chest. Feel as though the head were filled with helium and it's lifting up off your spine. Feel the weightlessness of the head. Then dropping the head, chin to the chest, rocking one ear to one shoulder, opposite ear to the other shoulder. Rock the head from side to side, only if this feels okay to your neck. If it does not feel okay to your neck, come back up until the chin is level with the earth. Come back to center. Turn to look over the right shoulder. Turn to look over the left shoulder. Looking right and looking left. Come back and massage your right thumb, above and below the knuckle, but not on the knuckle, on either side of the thumb. Press the thumb towards the palm of the hand and press it away from you. Draw it towards the palm of the hand and press it away from you. Then take the thumb around in a circle and back in the opposite direction. Now turn once again to look over the right shoulder and see if you can't get a little farther around with the neck. Try that to the left, looking over the left shoulder, picking a spot in the garden that you can comfortably see. Come back to center and massage that left thumb, above and below the knuckle. You're squeezing on either side of the thumb, but not directly on the knuckle. And then press down with the opposite forefinger and thumb, as though you're putting on a tight pair of kid gloves. Massaging the Venus mount at the base of the thumb, and then draw the thumb across the palm of the hand and press it away from you. And draw small circles with the thumb. Now turn to look over your left shoulder. See if you can't get any farther around. I always feel like an owl the second time, like I can almost get my neck all the way around in a circle. Now draw your chin over that right shoulder. Drop the chin to the shoulder and feel a stretch in the left side of your neck and breathe into that stretch. Come back to center, draw the chin over the left shoulder, drop it to the shoulder, and remember to breathe. You're breathing into the sternocleidomastoid and the trapezius muscles. Come back up to center, draw the chin over the right shoulder, draw small circles with the chin, releasing the neck. And circle back in the opposite direction. Opposite direction. Come back up to center. Look over the left shoulder, draw the chin to the shoulder, and draw small circles with the chin. Tiny, tiny circles. First in one direction, and then back in the opposite direction. Come back and look up at the sky. Feel the warmth of the sun's rays on your face
and draw circles with the chin towards the sky. As long as this is okay with your neck. If it's not okay with your neck, just look straight ahead and draw small circles directly in front of you. You're circling back in the opposite direction, and then bow your head to the earth. Draw small circles with your chin, tiny, tiny circles. Releasing, relaxing the neck. So many of us hold tension in the neck. Come back in the opposite direction, and come back up to sitting. Dropping the right ear to the right shoulder, allow the left arm to hang, adding a little bit of weight, and breathe into the sternocleidomastoid and trapezius muscles on the left side of your neck. Coming back up to center, dropping the ear to the left shoulder, allow the right arm to hang. And remember to breathe. You're breathing into that stretch. Come back to center. Dropping the right ear to the right shoulder, walk the hand out to the left and wiggle the fingers, increasing the stretch in the neck. Coming back to center, dropping the left ear to the left shoulder, walking the right hand out to the side and wiggling the fingers. Come back to center. Press down into the heel of the left hand as you drop your head to the right. The more you press, the more of a stretch you'll receive. And breathe into that stretch. Pressing down into the heel of the right hand, drop the head to the left. Breathing into the sternocleidomastoid and the trapezius muscles on the right side of your neck. Come back to center. Reach around behind your back and grasp the left wrist with your right hand. Draw it over to the right and drop your head to the right, affording the same stretch to the muscles of the neck. And breathe into that stretch. Now taking the right wrist in the left hand, draw it over to the left and drop your head to your left. And remember to breathe. Allow the left arm to float up, draping the left hand on the right ear. Begin to rotate that right shoulder forward, up, back, and down, around in a circle. Around in a circle. Loosening and lengthening the neck and shoulder muscles. Now come back in the opposite direction. Same arm, opposite direction. Around in a circle. Remember to breathe. Resting the right hand in your lap, begin to draw circles with the left elbow, still cradling the head in the crook of your arm. Take the left elbow around in a circle, but know that the movement originates from the neck, so be very gentle. Never jerk the neck. Always move very slowly. Now come back in the opposite direction, making tiny, tiny circles. Very minute. Allow the left arm to float up, and once again the nose is directly over the sternum. Feel as though a string were coming out the top of your head like a marionette puppet, lifting the spine straight up. And place the right hand on your left ear. Begin to circle the left shoulder. Around in a circle. Come back in the opposite direction. Opposite direction. You may want to close the eyes and go within. Really relish the movement. Yoga is a work in, not a work out. Now take that right elbow around in a circle. Tiny, tiny circles. Cradling the head in the crook of your arm. Know that although the movement is initiated from the elbow, it actually originates in the neck, and move very slowly. You're closing your eyes and going within. Luxuriate in the movement. Allow the right arm to float up, coming back up to center, pressing out through the crown of the head. Elongate the neck and lengthen the spine. Remember to breathe. Sit upright on a cushion or folded towel or blanket. This is in order to straighten the spine. Then begin to allow the arms to float forward and back, until finally they interlace behind your back. Draw the knuckles down, lift the chest up, look up at the sky. Inhale and exhale as you round the shoulders forward. Drop the chin to the chest. Then once again, draw the knuckles down, lift the chest up. Round the shoulders forward, drawing the chin to the chest. Finally, drawing the knuckles down, draw the large trapezius muscles back and down. This time, as you release the hands, allow them to float back around in front of you. Interlace the hands in front of you now and press the palms away from you. Then take the arms to the right. Pressing the palms away, press the thumbs the farthest thing away. Feel a stretch beneath the arm. You're contracting the abdominal muscles. Rock back onto your tailbone. Bring the arms to the left, dropping the head. Rock the tailbone under you, contract the abdominal muscles.
Bring the arms up and overhead. Press the palms away. Press the thumbs the farthest thing away, so that the inner arm lifts up, yet the outer arm travels back and down. Lift the rib cage up and out of the waist. Keeping the hips facing forward, twist from the waist to your right. Take a deep breath in, and on the next exhalation, twist even farther to the right. Then come back to center. Inhale straight up. And as you exhale, twist from the waist to the left. Inhale and exhale even farther to the left. Then come back to center, resting the hands on the head.
Press the palms to the right. Press down into your left hip. You're creating some resistance and breathing into the rib cage and the waist. Press the thumbs the farthest thing away. Come back to center, pressing off to your left. Pressing the palms away, press the thumbs the farthest thing away. Press down into that right hip, really press. Get a nice stretch in the rib cage and the waist, through the oblique muscles. Come back to center and grasp either elbow in each hand. Walk the hands down the upper arms, and give yourself a pat on the back for doing this video today. Release the arms back down. Taking the right arm across the chest, press it into the chest with the left. Descend the shoulder down and turn the palm away for a different stretch. Dropping the chin to the chest. Take the left arm across the body to the right, hugging it into the chest, dropping the shoulder down and turning the palm away. Now place that left hand to the outside of your right knee. Take the right arm around you in an arc, following it with your eyes, so that you're already turning to look over your right shoulder. Place the right hand directly beneath your spine and press into the hand, lengthen out through the top of the head. Begin to give additional pressure to the back of that left hand and see how that turns you to look over the right shoulder. On the inhalation, you're lifting up, and on the exhalation, you're softening, turning to look over the right shoulder. So soften the abdomen, soften the waist, and come back to center. Sway from side to side, releasing the abdomen, releasing the rib cage, releasing the waist. Taking that left arm around you in an arc, turn to look over the left shoulder. Give some pressure to the back of your right hand to the left knee and see how this actually helps to turn you to look over the left shoulder. On the inhalation, lengthen up and out through the top of the head so you're lengthening the spine. On the exhalation, soften the abdomen, soften the waist, and turn to look back over your left shoulder. Come back to center and sway from side to side, releasing the abdomen, releasing the rib cage, releasing the chest. Now placing the hands on either side of the knee, sway from side to side, rocking into one hip and then the other. Taking the rib cage from side to side. The rib cage is something we don't often isolate in our day, unless we're a belly dancer. Come back to center, pressing the soles of the feet together, grasp a hold of the ankles. Draw the chin to your chest. Tuck your tailbone under you, round the spine. Contract the abdominal muscles. You're pressing the abdomen as though you could press it through the spine. Then come back up to sitting and lean slightly forward, lengthening out through the top of the head. So you're coming as far forward as you can with a flat back, bringing the rib cage forward. And get an additional stretch to the inner thigh. Then once again round over, drawing the chin to the chest, tucking your tailbone under you, round the spine. And once again come forward, lengthen out through the top of the head, extending the spine. Put gentle pressure on the inner knee with the elbows. And round over, drawing the chin to the chest, tucking your tailbone under you. Gather the knees together and rest your forehead on your knees. Now take the legs out to second position. Turn to look over that right leg. Look back at the sky. Interlace your fingers over that right foot and begin to draw circles from the hip, coming around in a circle. As you lean back, contract the abdominal muscles to protect the lower back. Around in a circle, as though you're stirring a huge pot. And then fold forward over that left leg. Begin drawing a circle back in the opposite direction. If this is too much for your hamstrings, just don't lean so far forward. Keep the circle small. Coming around in a circle. So we're actually taking the rib cage around in a circle. Now placing the right foot on top of the left knee, left foot beneath the right knee. Fold forward from the hip. One shin is parallel to the other. You're leaning forward and getting a nice stretch in the hips. If you can, come down onto your elbows. You may stay up on your hands, however. And switch legs. Placing the left ankle on top of the right knee. Right foot directly beneath the left knee. And walk the hands out in front of you. This would be contraindicated, of course, if you have a hip or knee replacement. Come back to sitting cross-legged. Turn to look over that right knee and fold forward from the hip. You're walking the hands out in front of you, draping the torso over the knee, drop the head, relax the back of the neck. Come back up to sitting and turn to look over that left knee. Looking back at the sky, taking a deep breath in, drape the torso over that left knee, walk the hands out in front of you. Drop the head, relax the back of the neck. Come back up to sitting. Turn to look over the right knee once again, looking back at the sky. Then walk the hands out in front of you. This time stay up on the hands. Reach out through the fingertips of the left hand to the opposite right diagonal corner of the garden. And then begin walking your hands one over the other to come back to your left. Then drape the torso over the left knee. Drop the head, relax the back of the neck. Press down into that right hip to increase resistance. And breathe into that stretch. Then reach the right arm out across to the left diagonal corner of your garden. Really reach way out, getting a nice stretch through the oblique muscles in the rib cage and the waist. Walking hand over hand back to your right, lengthening out through the top of the head as you do so. And then draping the torso over that right knee, drop the head, relax the back of the neck. Press down into that left hip to increase resistance. And breathe into that stretch. Walk back up to sitting. Place your right hand on the left knee. The left arm comes up and overhead. Fold directly to your right and lean slightly back as though you're leaning against a wall. You could bend more so in the left arm in order to increase the stretch in the rib cage and the waist. Turn to look towards that outstretched arm. Unless this does not feel good to your neck, and then just look straight ahead. Lengthen out through the fingertips of the left hand. Come back onto your left elbow and reach the right arm up and overhead. Really reach way out through the fingertips so the energy does not end at the end of the fingers. It continues out through the fingers. Press down into that right hip. Come back up to sitting and begin to sway from side to side. Rocking from side to side like a palm tree swaying in the breeze. Come down onto one hand and then the other. And eventually, see if you can come down onto one elbow and then the other. And as you do so, press into the opposite hip. So if you're leaning to the right, you're pressing into the left hip. And if you lean to the left, you're pressing into that right hip. Really press. Create resistance. And get a nice stretch through the rib cage and the waist. Now come over onto your left elbow and begin to draw a circle with that right arm overhead. You're circling from the shoulder, not the wrist, but the shoulder. Open the chest to the sky, and then chest to the earth. Coming around in a circle with that right arm. Feel the warmth of the sun's rays on your face as you open the chest to the sky. Keep pressing down into that right hip. Now come back in the opposite direction. Same arm, opposite direction. Press the right hand down into that right hip. Really press. Release the neck, drop the head, and come back up to sitting, pressing off the left hand. Place your left hand on the right knee now. Right arm comes up. Lengthen up and out through the top of the head. Then fold directly to your left. Descend the right shoulder back and down. Turn to face up towards the outstretched arm. And increase the stretch in the right elbow in order to breathe into the rib cage and the waist. Press down into that right hip. Really press. Reach out through the fingertips of the right hand. Come down to rest on the right hand and reach out through the fingertips of the left hand. Press down into that left hip. You may want to come onto your elbow to increase the stretch. So you're lengthening that whole side of your body. Come back up to sitting. And begin to sway from side to side, like a piece of seaweed being buffeted by the waves. You're rocking from side to side. Resting on the right elbow, begin to circle that left arm from the shoulder. From the shoulder. So the whole upper body is involved, not just the arm. You're opening the chest to the sky and then facing the earth. Draw the arm back in the opposite direction. Opposite direction. Coming around in a circle. Reach out through the fingertips. Getting a nice stretch in that whole side of your body. You can follow the hand with your eyes. Press down into that left hip, pressing off the right hand to come back up to sitting. And lengthen out through the top of the head. Come back to center. Extend the right leg out, keeping the left knee bent. Place the right hand on the left knee. Left arm is up and overhead. Fold directly to your right. Look up towards the outstretched arm, only if that's okay with your neck. If it's not okay with your neck, look straight ahead. If you'd like to increase the stretch, reach the right arm beneath the right leg and clasp a hold of the ankle. Press the calf into the forearm. Looking back towards the outstretched arm. Bending more so in that left arm in order to increase the stretch. Press down into the left hip to create resistance. And breathe into that stretch. If it's difficult for your neck, you can always bend your elbow and support your head with your right hand. No need to allow your head to dangle there. Reach out through the fingertips of the left hand to come back up to sitting. Turn and face the extended leg. Lifting both arms up and overhead. Hike the shoulders up to the ears. See how that feels, and then descend the shoulder blades back and down. Lift the rib cage up and fold forward from your hip. Think of the hip as a hinge. You're trying to get your chest to your thigh. Chest to the thigh. Now take the left hand to the outside of your right ankle and draw your navel over that right thigh. Turn to look back over the right shoulder. Placing the right hand on the small of your back, press down into the small of the back and lengthen out through the top of the head. Give additional pressure to the back of that left hand and turn to look over your right shoulder. See how this opens the chest. Keep lengthening out through the top of the head, elongating the neck and lengthening the spine. This is a passive spinal twist. Come back to center and drape the torso over the right leg. Drop the head, relax the back of the neck. If you cannot get your head to your knee, bring your knee up to your head, no problem. And rest. Now lengthen out through the fingertips, out through the top of the head to come back up to sitting. Face forward and release the arms back down. Even as you're releasing the arms down, you're still lifting the spine up, lengthening out through the top of the head. If your knee allows, come right over onto your left knee. Walk the fingertips up the thigh. And from the pubic bone to the tip of the chin, lift the whole front body up. Look back at the sky. Now walk the hands out in front of you. You can come down onto your left hip, if that's better for you. Rest on your forearms. And lengthen that right leg back. Flush with the grass. Begin to come back up to center. Coming back onto the tibia, the shin bone. You want to fold forward from the hip slightly so that you can bend the right leg up, so you're never on the kneecap as it bends. Reach around, grasp a hold of the right foot. Press the foot away from you. This creates a counterbalance which helps to lift you. Lift the abdomen, lift the rib cage, lift the chest. Lengthen out through the top of the head. Picking a spot in the opposite end of the garden to help you balance. Allow the left arm to float up. And only if you feel secure, balance here for 25 seconds. For 3 to 5 breaths, to your own capacity. And then release, relax back down. Come right over onto your left hip. Ensure that you are no longer on your knee. And come back down onto your forearms. We're rocking forward and rocking back on that left hip. Giving yourself a form of self-massage. So this should feel good to you. Rock forward and rock back. Rocking toward your head and toward your feet. And then stop rocking, turn the palms to face up, and turn to look back over your left shoulder. Put some pressure on the back of your arms and feel the rib cage as it turns to the left. You're opening up between the vertebrae, releasing synovial fluid. You're in a passive spinal twist. Palms face down and walk the fingertips out along the ground. Forehead facing down. Rest your bottom armpit quite close to the grass. And then lengthen out the legs beneath you, the arms above you, and pull the hands and feet back, creating a crescent shape by pressing the pelvis forward. Keep your head between the arms. Come back to center, hugging the knees into the chest in the fetal position. This position alone is very good for lower back. Pressing down into the forearms, lengthen out the top leg, keeping the bottom knee bent. Initiating with the rib cage to come back up to sitting. So your head is the very last thing to come up. And in that way, you should avoid lightheadedness. Come back up to sitting, lengthening out the left leg, keeping the right knee bent. We'll do the entire gait series to the opposite side. Left hand to the right knee, right arm comes up. Taking a deep breath in, lengthen out through the top of your head. Extend the spine. Keep pressing the crown of the head away from you, elongate the neck, and then fold directly to your left. Lean slightly back as though you're leaning against a wall. Turn to look up towards the outstretched arm. Feed that left hand beneath the left leg and press the calf into the forearm. Bend more so in the right arm to increase the stretch. And breathe into the rib cage and the waist. Press down into that right hip. Really press. Turn to look up towards the outstretched arm, as long as that's okay with your neck. If it's not okay with your neck, support your head with your hand. That's fine. Keep pressing down into that right hip and reach out through the fingertips of the right hand to come back up to sitting. Turn to face the extended leg. Reach both arms up and overhead, grasping a hold of one wrist. Hike the shoulders up to the ears and descend the shoulders back and down. Lift the rib cage up, fold forward from the hip. Dropping the head, relax the back of the neck. Imagine that you could get your chest to your thigh. Chest to the thigh. Because head to knee actually shortens the spine, and we want to lengthen the spine. You're placing the right hand to the outside of the left ankle. Draw your navel over that left thigh. Place the left hand on the small of your back. Press down into the left hand and lengthen out through the top of your head. Turn to look over the left shoulder. Put additional pressure into the back of that right hand to your left ankle and see how that actually helps to turn you to look over your left shoulder. Keep lengthening out through the top of the head. Come back to center, draping the torso over the left leg. Draw your head to your knee, or your knee up to your head. And rest. This posture is said to be good for insomnia. Insomnia. Now lengthening out through the tips of the fingers, out through the top of the head. Come back up to sitting, face forward, and release the arms back down. You're lengthening out through the top of the head. Coming over onto your right knee, only if this is okay with your knee. If it's not okay with your knee, sit on your right hip. You're walking the hands up the thigh, looking back at the sky, taking a deep breath in. Walk the hands out in front of you, draping the torso over the bent knee. Drop the head. Relax the back of the neck. Lengthen out through that left leg and bend the left knee. So you're never on the kneecap as it bends. You're on the fleshy part of the thigh. Now reach back, same hand to foot, and press the foot away from you. This actually helps to lift you. Lift the abdomen, lift the rib cage, lift the sternum up, press the crown of your head away from you. Elongate the neck. You're lengthening out through the fingertips of the right hand now, only if you feel secure. Picking a spot in the opposite end of the garden that will help you balance. Stare at that spot. Now come back onto your right hip and your forearms and rock forward and back toward your head and toward your feet. Rocking forward and rocking back. Forward and back, forward and back. And then stop rocking and turn the palms to face up. Turn to look over your right shoulder. Press down into the backs of the arms. And begin to turn the rib cage to your right. This opens up between the vertebrae, releasing synovial fluid, which actually results in a similar feeling as the endorphin release that the runners get. Palms face down and walk your fingertips out along the grass, resting your head on your arm. That bottom arm is flush with the ground. Now lengthen the legs beneath you, the arms above you, and pull the hands and feet back into a half moon or a crescent shape. Press the hips forward, keeping the head between the arms, as long as this is okay with your lower back. Now hug the knees into the chest. You're lying on your side in the fetal position. This position alone is very good for lower back. Resting your head on your bottom arm, making a pillow by bending in the elbow. Now press down into the forearms so as not to exacerbate the wrists, and inhale up through the intercostal muscles, the rib cage. Allow the rib cage to initiate, to come back up to sitting, so that your head is the very last thing to come up. Come back to center. And remember to breathe. Lengthen out to the top of the head. Elongate the neck. And straighten the spine. Once again, we find ourselves in the fetal position, lying on our side, hugging the knees into the chest. Roll back onto your back, draw the knees into the chest, and begin to drop the legs from side to side, beneath one arm and then the other, moving slowly and carefully. Taking a hold of both knees, draw circles with both knees in the same direction, giving a nice massage to the lower back. If you choose to keep a hold of the knees, you can press out through the hands and also get a nice stretch in the neck muscles as well. So press the knees away from you and keep a hold of the knees with the hands. Get a nice stretch in the neck as well. Come back in the opposite direction now. Opposite direction. Giving a nice massage to the lower back. Coming around in a circle. Around in a circle. Crossing the feet at the ankles, reach around the outsides of your legs to clasp a hold of either foot with the opposite hand. Continue to draw a circle with the lower back into the ground. So all you're doing by crossing the feet at the ankles is simply creating a wider base at the pelvis in order to massage the entire lower back. If, however, this causes tension in your knees, let go of the hands from the feet, no problem. Begin to circle back in the opposite direction, giving a nice massage to the lower back. One knee makes one loop, the opposite knee makes the other loop. The figure 8 is lying on its side, the infinity symbol, and you're tracing it with your knees. Come back in the opposite direction, drawing a figure 8 directly above you with your knees. And all you're doing is giving a nice massage to the lower back. Soles of the feet together, reach the arms through the legs, grasp a hold of the ankles, not the feet. It's not healthy to pull on the foot. Draw the ankles towards you. Press the lower back down to the ground. And get a nice stretch in the inner thighs and the lower back. Now wrap the arms around the legs, hug the knees into the chest, and draw your head up to your knees, only if this is okay with your neck. Replacing the head on the ground. Hold underneath the knees and press the entire spine down into the earth. Once again, wrap the arms around the legs, draw your head up into the knees. You're in a tight cannonball, and then releasing, relaxing back down, communing the spine with the earth. Placing the feet down, rest the thumbs on the base of the rib cage, the middle fingers on the hip bones, and very deliberately scraping either heel along the earth. Lengthen out both legs. Allow the feet to fall out to either side in a very relaxed manner. Draw your chin to your chest only if this is okay with your neck. And then release the head back down. Squeeze the right hand into a fist only if you have no symptoms of carpal tunnel. This would be contraindicated for carpal tunnel. Squeeze the left hand into a fist. And then release, relax back down. Press out to the right heel, lifting the right leg 1 inch off of the earth. And releasing, relaxing back down. Pressing out to the left heel, from the hip to the tip of the toe, tensing and releasing. Draw the shoulder blades beneath you. Broaden the surface of the back in order to enhance the relaxation. Bring the awareness around to the top of the head. Begin to relax the scalp. Release the forehead by drawing it down towards the bridge of the nose. Relax the temples and the cheeks. Release the jaw. So many of us hold tension in the jaw. You may want to open the mouth and shift the jaw from side to side, keeping the mouth slightly ajar so as not to clench the teeth or jaw. Allow the tongue to rest back into your throat, and the eyes to sink back into their sockets, as though they were resting on soft down pillows. Stay in relaxation for 8 to 10 minutes. This concludes Yoga in the Garden of Serenity. I hope you've enjoyed your experience. Shante, Shante, Shante. Shante means peace. I wish you peace and serenity.